Hey guys, this is Mike with the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance, and today we are going to be interviewing Chuck with a local PR firm. We're getting ready to head on over there to his office so he can tell us what the importance is of having an effective PR firm behind you so you can help explode your small business. Let's go ahead and head over there right now. How does one become popular or gain that positive reputation with the PR firm? What is that PR firm going to do to help us get that credibility that small businesses desperately need?
So one of the things is you've heard the adage, you can't blow your own horn, right? So having someone else talk good about you is the most important thing, and the way that you can accomplish that, or the way that we do it, is actually having your customers talk good about you, having your community talk good about you, and then having other outside agencies talk good about you. So it's really important that you have good reputation in the community so that people will talk about you and give you reviews and things of that nature. But the first thing you have to have is the popularity. People actually have to know who you are, and they're going to have to want to do business with you.
Okay, let's take a moment and kind of dive in about those reviews. Reviews are so difficult for people to do, right? I know for me, it's hard for me to get somebody to write me a review or do a video review or any sort of review. But in your opinion, what do you think is the best type of review a small business can get? Is it a written review on Facebook? Is it a video review on Google Plus? I mean, where are we at? What's going to generate the best traffic and make us more credible? Video, written, or voice? What do you think? What avenue should we go down to get those types of reviews?
So it really depends on how your customers are finding you. Customers are going to find you one of three ways. They're going to find you because of word of mouth, and now they've already got a preconceived idea of what your reputation is, right? So they're not necessarily, they don't necessarily care about those reviews. The next one, of course, is search by type. You're a roofer, they search for roofer, and then they're going to read reviews on roofers and things like that. So in that instance, Google is very important, okay? If they search by name because they've heard of you, but maybe haven't been referred to you, but they've heard of Doc's Roofing around, right? So now people might Google you, or they might go to the Facebook. So it's really important. Facebook recommends now. And that's their new review platform, so they can basically, someone could recommend you or not recommend you. All of them are equally important to have this review strategy. Anytime you can get a testimonial via video is very important. Some of the things that we employ is, we actually do where you can talk to a recent customer of that person through our system. The other one is we do video reviews where you can go to a site and actually record yourself talking about that, and then you put that out to the media that you want. Because remember, everyone might not go to Google,
right.
But if they see a Facebook post about your Google review, now they've seen that. Okay, so let's kind of dive into all these different social media platforms, right?
Like, I know when I started my own business, social media wasn't a big thing. And then as we continue to move and technology began to grow, and we start getting Snapchat, we start getting Yelp, and we get Instagram and Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and Twitter. I mean, the list, it can go on and on and on. As a small business, what do we focus on? What kind of social media platform are we going to really kind of dive into to get the best bang for our dollar? Okay. And I think that's why it's important to use a local PR firm, because correct me if I'm wrong, you'll guide us to pick that right social media platform, right?
Well, we'll guide you, and we'll actually do those postings for you, because part of PR, an important part of PR, is social media. As a matter of fact, people now say that social media is the new PR platform. But to answer your question, Mike, it's all of them, okay? But you want to spend your time where your customers are. So if you're a little boutique and you sell high school clothes, well, the kids are on Snapchat, right? Or they're on Instagram. They're not necessarily on Facebook.
Okay.
Right? So it really depends on your audience to where you can find them. Now, what we found what works the best is let's just go ahead and get out on all of them, right? but that is sometimes problematic for a small business owner, because then you end up working in your business instead of working, on your business.
Right. And having your business work for you.
Right. So I guess the short answer on that would be, wherever your customers are at is really where you need to focus your attention.
Okay. So we'll just take an apartment locating service for an example, right? Not many businesses are going to be looking for an apartment locator, right? So I'm thinking they're going to be more tended to go towards Instagram, right? Because they're doing photos and videos, and a lot of following is going through Instagram. But then we take another look at a company like USA Mobile Drug Testing, or a business-to-business company. I'm assuming LinkedIn is going to be a better platform for a business-to-business platform.
Well, so LinkedIn is its own little beast out there, and LinkedIn, really, people don't go to LinkedIn to see advertisements, so really it's about content.
Okay.
So about proving yourself as being an expert in the community. So that's where we're going to put blogs, we're going to put articles, we're going to do things like that. To go back to the apartment locator, on that, people are going to see that on Facebook, people are going to see that on Instagram as well, right? You wouldn't necessarily put it, now you would want to have a LinkedIn profile, because people want to see you as a professional and
Sure.
things of that nature. But the drug testing, of course, that's business. So on that, I would heavily go into to LinkedIn, and I would basically start showing my core competencies and writing articles on it, sharing articles related to drug-related accidents or liabilities that you might have. I would even probably get some guest writers on there, some legal teams, some lawyers or something to write articles for you, and for you to put on there and give them credit for.
And that's the beauty of probably having a local PR firm in your back pocket, is because you're going to have those types of connections already developed, right? With those writers and those blog writers, and gathering that data, the statistics of whatever business that you're in, I mean, we can go on and on about the different types of styles and different types of businesses that are out there. But what's really, really important is to have somebody that you can lean on and give you the advice that you would need as a small business to start out at. I know he says we're going to use all social media platforms, but in my opinion, at the beginning of the day, we need to pick a social media platform that we're going to really hone in on, and then start working our way towards the other social media platforms like Yelp and Twitter and these other this slew of different social media platforms that we're being inundated.
And your customers will define that as you. I would recommend starting all the channels.
Right.
Maybe you're not totally active in them, but as you start them, you'll start seeing where those customers are following you.
Right.
Right. And of course, you don't want to put a post out on Facebook when you've got 3 followers, and then your Instagram you've got 4,000 followers, and you're not putting posts out.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to go where your customers are.
So we want to be able to capitalize on our target audience, right? And understanding what your target audience is and who they are is going to be a direct relation to what company you've hired to help you understand your target market. And I believe that's where a local PR firm can really help you out. Really define your target audience and define which avenue you need to go down, so that you're not making the same mistakes that many small business owners such as myself have made in the past. So we had to crawl before we could walk, so to speak. And I know that understanding that having a strong public relation presence is crucial to the growth and of somebody's company. Would you agree?
Well, yeah. Okay. So let's put it this way. What is the absolute best way to be found #1 in Google? It's not SEO.
Just typing in the person's company name.
That's right. So if someone knows you and they're searching for you by name, that's what PR does, right? That's that word of mouth. That's getting it out there to where people want to do business with you. Now, we have to do SEO as well, because most of our customers aren't to that point. That's why they've hired a PR firm. So we help them out with the SEO. Right? We help them out with the social media. We help them out with ads. But the main thing that we do is we put it all together into a unified strategy that's mapped out and falls into line to put you in the most optimal place that you can be. Because I tell clients all the time, they'll say, hey, we want you to handle this, we're going to handle this. I'm like, well, if you don't do this, then you're throwing your money away on this, because you have to have it all, and you can do some of it, we can do some of it, we can do it all, you can do it all.
Right.
But it has to be done.
And that brings me to my next point, right? As a small business, we start out and we're holding on to every single dollar that we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're trying to make it in this world of capitalism, and our budgets are more restricted as a small business, especially as we begin in the first 1 to 3 years. We really have to be concerned about how we spend our money.
Yeah.
And so that's, I feel, is one of the most biggest hurdles for small businesses, is being able to choose the right business marketing strategy that's the most cost effective and that we have our highest return on investment.
Correct.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've hired an SEO company and they charge you $150 a month, but at the end of the day, 6 months down the road, I got zero, right? So $150 a month sounds affordable, but 6 months down the road, I've spent $1,000 and I got zero ROI, so I've lost $1,000.
Right.
So maybe in the beginning it sounds like, oh my gosh, $500 a month, there's no way I can afford it. But if we think long term, right? And we say, if I invest in myself, if I invest in my business, the ROI should come 6 months to a year down the road. So which leads me to another question. How long would a small business expect for that, for me to be found, right? Does it happen overnight? If I say, hey Chuck, I'm hiring your local PR firm, here's $1,000, I want to be #1 on Google tomorrow. Is that realistic?
So it can happen, but the way that happens is you make butterfly-shaped hats, and you're the only one in the world making butterfly-shaped hats. So your keyword is butterfly-shaped hats. No one else is trying to rank for that. So you can get ranking for that. But when you're talking about roofer, plumber, attorney, realtor, there is 10,000 people out there trying to rank on that keywords. And that's why one of the most important things that we focus on is locally, right? So locally, we can get you ranked on the Google map card a lot quicker than we can get your keywords ranked, because keywords can be nationally unless someone's typing in, Rockwall, Texas.
Right.
A lot of people don't do that, right? Even though Google tries to, look at your proximity and things of that nature. So most of the time, like our engagements that we do are for 6 months, right? And we tend to find that after 6 months, our clients want to keep retaining us because they are seeing that return on investment. There's several studies out there saying that you can do marketing, you can do advertising, there's specific return on investment. So it's like, hey, for every dollar I spend, I'm getting $1.10 back, or every dollar I'm spending, I'm getting $2 back. So of course you're going to throw money in there, but you've got to be able to track that, right? I can't tell you how many times I run across customers who are like, yeah, I've spent $2,000 in Google AdWords last month, and I got all these clicks. I'm like, okay, we tied it back to money. Well, how do I do that? So then I show them how to do it, and just for one example, this guy had spent, I think, $3,000 over the course of the last 2 months. He was able to tie it to 8 customers with a revenue of about $700. So he spent $3,000 to get $700 in revenue.
Doesn't sound very smart to me.
No, he's not doing that anymore, and his business is actually going up right now because of some of the things that we're doing.
Because a local PR firm has stepped in and given them a clear plan of action on how to maximize their presence on the internet.
You understand, we're not a widget. We're not one of these $69 widgets that you can go out and buy and do it yourself. Those things don't work, and you're not the expert at doing it.
Widget.
The
hell's a widget?
Those little widgets, this little software, JV Zoo, get ranked #1 or do SEO or whatever. But you've got to do it all yourself, and those tools are somewhat limited. The way we position ourselves is, 1, being a member of your team, and 2, being very, very consultative with you and helping guiding you make decisions. Customers will call me, hey, should I, advertise here, or should I do that? And I said, okay, well, let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Right? Let's see if that's going to be cost effective for you. And that's what a PR company does. Even though we also do marketing and advertising, and SEO and social media, really what we do is if you're doing your own, we can consult you on that as well.
Okay, so a local PR firm is obviously offering multitude of services. Now, as a consultant, as being able to have direction on which way we want to take this small business, on which social media platforms we want to utilize to maximize our credibility, as well as our popularity. So at the end of the day, I think it's a true value to be able to utilize a PR firm that is able to encompass multiple facets of getting your popularity and reputation, your popularity and your reputation higher over a period of time. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be number one on Google overnight, right? We're looking at a 6 month, maybe a year in business, right? Does that seem realistic?
It depends on the industry, but yeah.
So industry specific, but as you said, a lot of trade companies and realtor companies it's just an inundated field, and it just takes time to become popular and become a reputable company.
Well, it takes a long time to get ranked in SEO. That's why it's actually, for those industries, it's easier to do the PR component with the popularity and reputation, so that people are finding you word of mouth. Right, letting people know who you are and things like that, so they're searching for you instead of a roofer. And that's why that route works really well.
So if we can end this on one key note, what would you recommend a small business? What would be their best approach to getting their name out there?
So get involved in the community, get involved with a local nonprofit, start talking to people, go to other businesses, learn about those businesses, show people that you care, show your consumers that you care. Those are the things that are going to raise you higher than your competitor. People see that and they like it. I mean, it's amazing what you can do just by putting a post about a dog that needs to be adopted on your social media. So instead of talking about roofing, hey, here's a dog at the Rockwall Animal Shelter that needs adopting. You'll get likes, people, and it raises you up. It raises, it's all about service, right? So let's get back to that word. It's all about service. And if you can have a service mindset in your business, not just towards your customers, which is very important, but towards your community as well, you're going to get a lot out of that.
That's outstanding, Chuck. I just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to come in and take a moment out of your busy schedule. This is again Chuck, the local PR firm right here in Rockwall County, willing and able to help any small business out there really navigate these waters of the internet, because it is a beast in itself. So again, we want to just thank you for allowing the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance to take a moment of your time and pick your brain.
No, I appreciate it, and go Army.
Yeah, he's probably been drinking. So look at it. All right, cool, thanks.